Welcome to the Bigger Brains course, Mastering Outlook 365 Expert. My name is Vicky Drua, and I've been training people to use Microsoft products for over 10 years. Microsoft Outlook is a powerful tool you can use to stay connected and get organized. And I'm excited to teach you how to use its features. This course is for users with an advanced understanding of Outlook's email, calendar, people, and task tools who want to manage their account using advanced features and customization options. We'll start with customizing Outlook using Backstage options. Then we'll look at multiple ways to customize your views in Outlook. We'll also look at changing your send and receive settings and how to manage multiple profiles and accounts. Next, we'll discuss how to use and manage Outlook add-ins, use built-in templates, and create your own templates. Then we'll look at ways to work with shared folders and permissions, advanced search and filter options, and ways to clean up and manage your mail folders. We'll also look at customizing your flags and follow-up options. In our last section, we'll look at ways to customize your calendar settings, how to import and export contacts, and ways to share your contacts. As you go through these topics, I recommend that you stop the video periodically and practice what I'm showing you. By the end of this course, my hope is that you'll be better able to manage your Outlook 365 accounts using customization features and advanced options. Luco, did you know there's several options available for customizing both your email and your contacts?
No, I didn't.
Let's take a look. So let's start by going to File, Options, and we'll choose our Mail options. And let's go ahead and choose Editor options. So here we can go and look at further autocorrect options.
And I see this is where I go ahead and change the settings for spelling and typos.
Exactly. And if you look further down, when correcting spelling, if you don't want it to spell check and grammar check your messages, you can actually turn those off.
Good to know. Now, how do I get Outlook to select only a few characters in a word as opposed to selecting the whole word whenever I highlight something?
Okay, for that, we need to go to the Advanced tab. And if you look at our second option, when selecting automatically select the entire word, just uncheck that box.
Good. And I see some other options I could come back and look at when I have time.
Exactly.
Now, we went through the editor options, the spelling and autocorrect options, but I see signatures here.
Well, this is where you can actually customize your signature, make it a little fancier, and add different components to it.
Does this mean I could add my logo and the link to my website?
Exactly. Let's take a look. All right, I see you already have a signature, and you said you wanted to add an image. Where would you like it to go?
Well, because it's a logo, I like it to go on the bottom of the signature.
So just put your cursor where you'd like the image to go, and then select the Insert Picture icon.
And I'll select this logo.
Okay.
And there it is. I would like to resize it, though.
All right, to do that, we're going to need to right-click on the image, and then choose Picture. And go to your Size tab. Just pick the size you'd like it to be.
All right, so let's make the height about 1/2 inch. And I see that the aspect ratio is locked, so it's automatically going to change the width. And let's select OK to see the final product.
Now it'll just take a moment to adjust.
That's the size I want.
Did you also say you wanted to link your website?
I do.
All right, so to do that, go ahead and highlight your website inside your signature. This time we're going to choose the link icon. Notice your address is already in place, so go ahead and click OK.
And now it's a hyperlink, just like I want.
Exactly. And you could do the same thing for your email address if you wanted.
Let's do that. So I'm going to highlight the email address, go to the link icon. The address is already set. I'm going to select OK.
Now you have your links and your logo, so let's make sure we save it.
So it's saved.
Luco, are there any other email options you're interested in?
You know, I often get messages about read receipts. Is it possible to set them all up so they could all react the same way?
Oh, for that, let's scroll down to the tracking section. Notice it says, for any messages received that include a read receipt request, we have 3 options. Always send, never send, or ask each time.
You see, that's why I get it every single time because it's set up that way. I'd rather not send them.
So you want never?
Correct.
All right, let's make that selection. And if you notice our next 2 options, We've set to automatically process our meeting requests and our read receipts. And we have another option that the system can automatically delete those messages after the tracking has been processed.
That's impressive.
Let's turn them on. Now let's take a look at some of our options for people. And these are our default settings.
You know, I like the fact that it checks for duplicates because that saves a lot of data space for me personally. And also the fact that you could change how the names are filed. That's pretty neat.
Also notice you have the option if you want to see the user photograph or not. And then when you hover over in the peak, you can decide if you just want to see their name only.
Got it. Now, speaking of people, I often get messages from other people in different countries that come in different languages. I need to translate the message and send it back to them in whatever language they speak. Where can I get that set up?
All right, for that, we'll need to go to our language options. At the top display, this is the actual language of Outlook, so your buttons, your menus, and so forth. But the bottom half, this is where we can actually add a language, and that way we can do our proofing, spell check, and later your translations.
Can we give it a try?
Click Add a Language.
Let's go for Spanish.
So your Spanish has been added, and if there's other languages you want to add, you can add them there as well.
Nice. Let's select OK. And now there's a notification informing us that the language changes will take place once we restart Outlook.
Exactly.
I'll take full advantage of all the Outlook options. So Vicky, I would like to customize my Outlook views. What options are available?
There are actually a few. Let's start off by going to File Options. Let's go to Advanced. So here we can change our Outlook panes as well as our Outlook Start. Let's take a look at our reading pane. Also notice there's an option for how long Outlook will wait before marking a message as read. If we check the box, the default time will be 5, but let's actually change that to 10.
And I personally appreciate this option because I leave messages as unread to go back to them. Whenever Outlook changes it as read so quickly, I lose track of what I'm doing.
That's a good point. Let's go ahead and save that change. Now, another option we have here is our Outlook Start and Exit. When you open up Outlook, you don't have to open to your mail. If you would like, you can open up to your calendar or even your tasks.
You know, I think I like the idea of opening up to my calendar.
All right, let's go ahead and browse and select your calendar folder. Be sure to save it. All right, now the next time you start Outlook, it's going to open up right to your calendar.
Saves a step.
Let's look at some other ways to change your views. We'll have to leave here and go to your View tab.
Now, can I create new views or do I have to select from a predefined list?
Well, you can actually create a new view or even edit some of those predefined. Let's select our Meetings folder so we can change the views just for this folder. Now, we'll go to our current view group and choose Change Views. And we want to manage our views and select New. Let's give it a name. Let's call it Projects, and we're going to create a timeline view. Notice this can be used on this folder alone or all of the mailboxes and folders. Let's choose this folder, and really it only depends if we share this folder with someone else. So we can choose everyone and click OK. All right, so let's choose columns. So we're already set with our sent and received columns. So we can choose OK. And let's group by and choose from. And we probably want those in ascending order. So let's go ahead and click OK. And OK to close this box. And now we need to choose Apply View in order to hold that view. Now we can see that we have a timeline, and any messages that are going to show up will show up in our timeline.
This is a different view. I like it. I see that it's separated by person, however, I'm not seeing the messages.
Well, we do have some older messages in this folder.
Ah, so there's the messages I was looking for. Now, if I select one of them, I imagine it's going to expand and open up so I can read the message, right?
Exactly.
So let me go ahead and double-click this one. Perfect.
Now, this view will stay with our Meetings folder unless we change it back.
Let's change it back.
All right, so let's go to our View tab. Now choose Change View And now notice our project view is here, and if we want to get back to our original view, we just click on Compact.
That was simple.
And later, if you want to go back to your project's view, it'll be there for you.
Good.
We can also modify one of the default views. For this, let's choose View Settings and Columns. Here we see all of the columns that can be in a view, but let's go ahead and just modify this. Let's remove Size and Mention. And choose OK. We can also change how those different categories are displayed. For example, when we get an attachment, we usually see a paper clip. We can actually put words there like yes or no, true and false. For that, we go to our Format column. And let's go ahead and click on Attachment. And notice here the format, again by default, is the icon. But from that drop-down menu, let's go ahead and choose yes or no. Next, let's choose From. And From only makes sense here. And then finally, let's go to our Received. And where it says Best Fit, let's change that option. And let's choose the day and date. Go ahead and click OK. And OK again. And this will allow us to save our views. Now, we need to change how we're looking at it so that we can see those different columns. Let's move the reading pane to the bottom. Now you can see the columns that we changed. And also in this view, let's turn off the message preview. So in our arrangement group, just to the left of the flags, let's choose Message Preview, and let's turn it off. Now again, it's asking us, do we only want to make this change to this folder or everything? Let's just choose this folder. And then this gives us a modified view.
I see. It's a little bit more concise.
Exactly. Now we can save this view if we go to our Change View and say Save Current View as New View. We'll call it Meeting View. That way we can go back and forth between our Compact View and our Meeting View as we need them. Let's be able to use this view in all of our folders, so we'll click OK.
Let's give it a test.
OK.
So I'm going to Change View, and there it is, Meeting View.
We can also change our view for contacts. Let's click on People. And just like before, let's go to our View tab. Change View. Manage your views. New. And this time we'll leave it on Table, but maybe let's change the name to Brief.
OK.
Choose OK. And Columns. Now there's a lot of columns there. We don't need all of those columns. Let's go ahead and remove the first three. So choose Icon and remove those three. Let's remove all the others we don't want. Now that we have the columns that we want, let's go ahead and click OK because we want to group these by company. So we'll choose Group By, and from the drop-down, let's choose Company. OK. Click OK one more time, and let's apply our new view. We don't have a lot of contacts right now, but as more are added, we're going to be able to see them in our new view.
The customization options allow me to create some views that make sense to how I use Outlook.
Luco, when we're switching between working online and offline, we can change the settings to how our messages are sent and received. Let's go to the Send Receive tab. Now, there might be times when maybe you want to work offline. Maybe you have a slow internet connection and you don't want to have all of your emails coming in. If that's the case, we just go to Preferences and go ahead and click the command for Work Offline. And now, we should notice in our status bar, it's telling us that we're working offline. When we're ready to go back online, we just click the command again. Now it's telling us we're connected. Now again, maybe you have a slow connection and you don't want to download the entire email. Maybe you just want to download a preview. Here, we can change our download preferences. So if we look at our preferences right now, the default settings are to download the full items, and then also on slow connection, download only the headers.
Now, what information is included only in the headers?
The header will give us just the sender and the subject.
Oh, well, that's helpful because I could just skim through my email inbox and see who sent what without having to open up each and every email.
Exactly. So why don't we just say download headers and then full items?
Okay.
Speaking of headers, do you ever get email messages and you're not quite sure if they're spam or not?
Yes, spammers are getting very creative nowadays.
Now, there's a way we can check to make sure that that email is authenticated. Let's open up an external email.
Okay. Let's try this one.
Let's go to File and choose Properties. And look at the bottom where it says Internet Headers.
That's a lot of cyber jargon. What am I looking for?
There's two key terms we're looking for. The SPF, which is going to give us the IP address and email it came from, as well as the DKIM, which is basically like a digital signature.
Okay, so I'm looking for SPF and DKIM. Ah, and I think I found both. I see the SPF and the DKIM.
The SPF is giving us both the IP address and the email, and it's saying it passed. The sender is who they say they are. And also when we look at the DKIM, we can see that it's a digital signature was verified. We know this is not spam. If they both say fail, we know it's spam. Good idea to add that email address to our block senders. Let's look at our send-receive preferences. We can set our preferences for send and receive. By default, it's set up for all of our accounts and all of our folders, but we can create groups and decide how we want those to be for certain accounts or certain folders. Let's select send-receive groups. Select Define Send-Receive Groups. And we're going to create a new group. Let's call our new group Project Teams. Enter. Let's take a look at our options here at the top. It's saying, do we want to include the selected account in that group? We have only one account right now, so we can check the box. Now, here we can decide what those options are for our accounts. Let's check Make Folder Home Pages Available Offline. The home page is like the web page or an HTML file of that page. Let's expand our inbox in our folder options below. And let's go ahead and check our Meetings folder. Now, we're going to select the Meetings folder only because we want these changes only happening to this specific folder. Let's also go over to the right, choose Download Only Headers for items larger than, and let's change that to 1,000. And click OK. Now, the first option, include the group in your send and receive. If you hit F9 on your computer or the send receive all inboxes, it's going to add sending and receiving to this folder as well. I don't want that to happen. I want to keep it on a schedule. So we're going to only keep the second box checked to schedule automatic send and receive. We're going to say every 60 minutes. So only every hour will emails go in and out of that folder.
Got it.
Now, look at our last option, perform an automatic send and receive when exiting. So if we leave this unchecked, what could happen is when we log out of Outlook, our email stays in our outbox. By checking that box, we can ensure that that's not going to happen.
Well, I want to make sure that my messages don't stay in my outbox, so I'm going to check off this box.
All right. Now, let's look at our options below. What do we want to do when we're working offline? So I think we should match our options above in that we're not included in the send receive when we hit F9 or we hit our send receive all folders, and let's schedule that to be the same 60 minutes as above. Let's close the box.
Okay.
Luco, have you ever used an RSS feed?
No, but I've seen the RSS feeds in my folders options. I just don't know what it is.
An RSS feed gives you the opportunity to follow your favorite websites or blogs. All we have to do is add their website address here to the RSS feed folder. When they have an update on their blog, let's say, you'll automatically see those updates show up here. Now you have the option, do you want to look at a preview or actually read the whole article?
That's pretty nice.
Let's go ahead and add one. Let's right-click on that RSS feeds folder and choose Add a New RSS Feed. So let's just go ahead and paste the URL here and add it. It's just making sure that this is what we want to do, but go ahead and click Advanced so we can look at some options. Here we can see the name of your feed. We can see what folder it's going to go to. Now let's look at downloads. Two options. You can automatically download, or you can download the full article in the HTML attachment. We want to just make sure we verify the settings, that everything looks exactly how we want it to be. It looks good, so let's just go ahead and click OK. And yes.
Nice. So it just imported all these articles from that particular URL, and it created the Verge folder under the RSS feeds.
Now, when more updates come in, they'll automatically go to your folder. You can decide if you want to preview or read the whole article. Now you can add as many new RSS feeds as you would like.
This is all great. Knowing how to use these settings will allow me to be more productive. Vicky, I'm using a shared computer at a workstation. Can we set up different profiles to better manage our accounts?
Absolutely. And so profiles are different than just your email accounts. So like you said, shared computer, we don't want everyone using everyone's emails here. And sometimes you can even set up different profiles so that you have one for work and one for home. We need to go to File and Account Settings. And then all the way at the bottom, we're going to choose Manage Profiles. And at the bottom where it says Profiles, select Show Profiles. And now we're going to add a new one. And go ahead and put your name. Choose OK. We see the information from our current email, but we're adding a new one so that we have those two different profiles again. You said you were using a shared machine. We're going to enter all the new information here, and then go ahead and choose Next. It's now looking for all of our settings. It found your information. Go ahead and put in your password. For this one, just stay signed into this app only.
Okay.
It's just making sure all of those settings are there. Everything loaded very quickly for us. We don't want to add another account right now, so go ahead and choose Finish.
And now my profile is set up.
Exactly. All right, so now this time, we'll go back to our account settings, and we'll choose Change Profile. Now we'll restart Outlook since that new profile was just added.
So now we're going to manually reopen Outlook. I like this. It's giving me the option to log into the general Outlook profile or my personal profile for Outlook.
Exactly. Let's choose yours and go to Options. All right, now you can decide which account you want to set as a default, or you can ask it to prompt you each time you open, decide which profile you're going to go to. Let's choose the second option, prompt for a profile to be used. OK. And we'll wait for a minute as it loads your profile.
And now we see the email address that we added.
Exactly. And if we want to go back to the other profile, we'll follow those same steps.
File, Account Settings, Change Profile, and then we will close Outlook and restart it again.
Exactly. Now we're back into our default profile. If someone grants us access to their email, we can add their mailbox to our account. Let's give it a try. We'll go to File and Account Settings. And Account Settings again. From these options, we'll choose Change. At the bottom, we'll choose More Settings. And go to the Advanced tab. We're going to add. Grady delegated us access. Let's add his account. All right, now we see his name. Choose OK. And from this box, please choose Next. Notice that his email is now added to our account.
I see that.
So now we can choose Done.
Now this is also where I can add new accounts, right?
Exactly. Let's go ahead and add a Gmail account.
Let's select New. And this time I'll add a Gmail address.
And Next.
And now it's asking for permissions, all of which I will allow.
OK.
And the account has been added successfully.
Great. And you see it in your navigation pane as well.
Yes. And Outlook automatically classified it as an IMAP.
Exactly.
Nice.
Go ahead and choose Done. Now we see both of our email addresses, and right now our Microsoft account is set as the default. That's the main account that everything is going to run through. If you want to change that, we could just select our Gmail account and set that one as our default. Now it's at the top, it's set as our default.
Okay, so by selecting the Gmail account as a default, what exactly did that do?
Well, so now that's going to be the main account that all of your emails are going to go in and out of. Now, you can always manually select the other account when you hit new email to make sure that email is getting sent from that other account.
Makes sense. I'll actually leave the Lynn account as the default.
Okay. And we can close this window. Another setting that we can make is with our sync settings. This lets us know how much information do we want to work with when we're offline. Let's go to our Microsoft account. And then we'll go to File, Account Settings, and this time I'll choose the second option, Account Name and Sync Settings. So see, it's set at 1 year. Let's draw that back, so it's about 3 months. Perfect, and go ahead and click Next. After we restart, that's when those settings will take place. We can click Done.
Okay. Good. I feel more confident about managing multiple profiles and accounts.
Great. Lugo, there are many add-ins that we can use to make working with Outlook an even better experience.
Yes, I've heard of one particular add-in called Viva Insights. How do I use that?
All right, well, we'll just need to add it. Let's go to our Home tab and get add-ins. We could search for it, but let's check under My Add-ins to see if it's already there. Since we don't see it here, let's go to Admin Managed. There it is. So let's go ahead and click Add. It says it's been added, so we can go ahead and close this box.
Okay. And there it is, right there on our ribbon.
Let's go ahead and use it.
Okay.
Look at all the information it's giving us here.
Quite a bit. It's asking for focus time or quiet time. Ooh, plan your time away.
You can even set your lunch hours.
We can do that.
Okay, 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Looks good.
Yep. I'm going to confirm this. And I assume it's going to add it to my calendar since I selected confirm, right?
Now that time is going to be blocked off for you.
Awesome.
Now, all of these things are things that we can do and set up so that update your calendar, notify collaborators of upcoming time away, and same with preparing for our meetings. There's different things we can do depending what those meetings are. They might be asking about documents and other things. Let's take a look at it. Here we can see we actually have the ability to book some meeting prep time, and you can choose 15 minutes or 30 minutes.
I like this. And I'll book 30 minutes of prep time.
Now, there's definitely a lot of options here. I would suggest that when you have time, you go through and see which ones will best suit your needs.
And this is very useful because it's not just telling me what's coming up on my calendar, but it's giving me the time to prep adequately for everything coming up.
Exactly. Now, this is not the only add-in out there. There might be others that can help you stay organized. Let's close this one and go back to Get Add-ins. There's also add-ins that you can use for DocuSign. So let's go ahead and search here in all of them. And let's choose DocuSign for Outlook. Before we add it, let's look at the description, make sure that's exactly what you want.
It is.
So then choose Add. And get started. Here's some just extra information. We'll close it for now. Now you see your DocuSign has been added.
I see.
All right, go ahead and click the drop-down arrow. Notice we have options for signing attachments or requesting signature, and let's look at the more options. And settings. You are going to have some add-ins that require an account and signing into them. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
Once you sign in, you won't have to sign in every single time you use it. We can close this one for now. Another tool that we have available to us for collaboration is called Loop Components. To take a look at this, let's open up a new email. And go to the body and notice Loop Components. Let's choose the drop-down menu for Loop Components. And we can see the different tools that are available to us. Let's just pick a basic bulleted list.
Well, this looks nice. It looks different than when I normally select on bulleted lists.
Well, this bulleted list is not just something that's going to stay within your email. You can share this. It's portable. You can edit it, you can view on it, even comment with it.
So I can use this outside of the email here?
That's actually the whole purpose of it.
Wow, it's like the excellent collaboration tool.
It really is. Let's give it a try. Let's go ahead and set up our list for the company picnic.
Let's start off with a title. Let's call it Company Picnic. What should we have the first person bring? How about we have ice?
Press enter, and now on the new line, let's do an app mention for Adele so she can finish the rest of the list. Notice when she press enter that her email is automatically added to the to. We better add a subject so she knows what's coming.
How about supplies for picnic?
Sounds good. And let's send it off. Now, we just sent that email off to Adele, but if we wanted someone else to have access to our loop component, we would want to copy the link. So let's open up that email we just sent. On the far right, notice the little copy icon. Go ahead and click on that. Now our link is copied and we could give that off to someone else who wanted to use it.
Now, what if we have a lot of add-ins and we don't want to keep them all?
Well, we can manage those under the Get Add-ins. And if we go to My Add-ins this time, and if we look at anything that we added, notice next to the check on the bottom right, you have your little ellipsis for more options. And if you wanted to get rid of them, right there you would just choose Remove.
Got it. These are all really helpful, and I'm looking forward to digging into them a little bit more.
Luco, another way that we can maximize our time in Outlook is by creating custom forms and templates.
Nice.
All right, let's give it a try. Let's open up a new email. And over here, on second to the right, we're going to choose View Templates. This is our introductory message. Go ahead and click Continue, and we'll see the default ones. These are the default templates that are available to us. So if we wanted just to quickly add this into our message, all we'd have to do is click on one.
So it's like a quick reply text message.
Exactly. Now, we can edit them. Notice the little pencil icon. We can also remove them, and we can add our own new template. Let's add a new one.
Okay.
Let's call this one Traffic. We know we're always late because we're stuck in traffic.
Yes, indeed.
All right, and then we just type the message and save it. So now when you're ready to use it, just click it and add it to it.
Okay. Perfect.
Just like an auto reply to a text message.
Yes.
Now, we can even create a template that's a little bit more advanced than this one. We can close this message without sending it. Let's set up a new email. Let's go to the body of our email. And let's just write monthly agenda notes. Enter, and then let's insert a table. And let's maybe make that table just 2 by 2 to start. And in the left column, why don't we just put agenda items? And the right, we'll put time allotted. Now the purpose of this is, it's a monthly meeting agenda. We're probably sending almost the same exact information every single month. This way we don't have to retype it.
Now, can I add people to this template?
Yep, you can even put people and a subject. So since we know we're probably sending this meeting to our Mark 8 project team, let's add them in the to. And our subject would be monthly meeting. All right, let's go to row 2 of our table. And let's just put a little welcome there. And we know that's always 15 minutes. Let's fill out a few more rows. Now, what we're going to do is go to File, and we're going to save this as a template. Save as. Monthly meeting is a good name, but here, the Save As type, we need to change that to an Outlook template. Notice that it's getting saved in our Microsoft Templates folder. Go ahead and choose Save. Now let's close it without saving. In order to use this, we're not going to go to New Email. Instead, we're going to go to New Items. And choose More Items. You'll notice that we don't see a template listed here. Outlook actually stores all of the templates as forms. So we're going to choose Form. This is the standard library. Go to this drop-down list where it says Look In. Now we see that word templates. So we're actually going to use the user template in file system.
And by user templates, these are the ones that I create.
Exactly.
And there's the one that I create.
Let's choose it and open. Everything is there. Our to, our subject, all we have to do, add the last bit of detail and send it on its way.
That's great. Using templates will help make sending repetitive messages much quicker.
Luco, there are times when you want to delegate access to your Outlook items, whether it's your email, calendar, tasks, or even people.
Yes, and I can see how that would be useful whenever I'm not available to manage my email, or if I don't want to send a whole bunch of information and forward it to someone else.
All right, let's go ahead and share one of our folders.
Okay.
So let's right-click on our Customers folder, and we'll choose Properties. And from Customer Properties, we'll choose our Permissions tab. And we need to add Alan as the person we're going to give permissions to. Now we need to add some permissions.
I see that Alan doesn't have any.
Let's see what our options are. Click the drop-down arrow beside None, and choose Owner. Owner is the permission that you have. You're the owner of the account. We wouldn't want to give someone all of that access.
Right.
Let's look at another option. Let's go to Editor. We can see here that they still have the ability to create and edit items, and they can delete all items from the visible folders. Let's try another. Author.
So with this permission level, I see they can edit and delete their own items.
Exactly. Let's check out Contributor.
This permission level has very limited access.
Exactly.
I can modify the options from here, right?
Yes, anyone you want. Let's go back to Editor and make some changes there. Let's leave everything at the top, but where it has delete items, let's change that to none.
And now I see that Alan's permission level is custom.
Right, just because we made that one little change. Let's go ahead and apply those changes. And we can click OK to close the box. Now Alan has access to our Customers folder, but he really can't do anything. We haven't given him permission to our inbox. Since Customers is a subfolder of our inbox, we have to at least give him view permissions to our inbox.
So let's get it done. I'm going to right-click on Inbox, go to Properties, Permissions, and I'm going to add Alan and select OK. And now for the permission level, I'm going to select, looks like Reviewer would be the best option here.
That makes sense since it's the inbox.
That's the exact access I need him to have. Let's select Apply. And OK.
Now Alan has access to the Customers folder whenever he needs it.
Good. Can I make changes to his access whenever I need to?
Yes, let's go ahead and modify it now. Go back to Customers, Properties, and Permissions. Select Alan, and let's change those delete item permissions to own. It's still custom. Let's apply those changes. And click OK.
So Alan can only see whatever I put in the Customers folder, right?
Yes, let's open that folder.
So here are the items that he can see.
But he can only delete his own emails.
Right. Now, what if someone gives me access? How do I see it?
Well, we can open that by going to File. From File, we're going to go to Open and Export. And then we'll choose our last option, Other Users folder. Grady's given us access to his inbox, so let's search his name here.
OK. Looks like we found him.
We are opening up his inbox shared folder, but let's look at the other options.
Yes. I've shared some of these and vice versa, like Calendar and Contacts.
Today we're going to do Inbox, so let's select that. And click OK. Now, we see all the emails from his folder here, but this is temporary. Once we click away anywhere else, those are going to disappear. If we want to have access to his folder at all times, we need to add his account.
Yes, and I remember you teaching me how to do that in a prior lesson. Learning how to delegate by giving permissions will make me so much more efficient at everything I need to do. Vicky, the more emails I receive, the more difficult it becomes to find a specific item.
Well, you can use the search filter and advanced find to help narrow down the parameters of your search and find items a lot easier.
Please show me how.
We've all probably typed in the search box before, but did you know there's also a filter option?
No, I didn't know that.
Let's type from : Alex. and enter.
And it's good that we're typing from Alex because otherwise we'll get from, to, and everything related to Alex.
Exactly. To get to our filter, I want you to click on the down arrow in the right corner of the box. And then at Attachments, click that down arrow and choose Yes. And now we can say Search.
And now the results are bringing up messages from Alex only.
And with an attachment only.
Yes.
Now notice the text up in our search box, from Alex, space, has attachments, yes. You could type it exactly like that without using the search filter option.
Good to know. I want to try it.
All right, well, let's delete this one out. Choose the X at the end of our search box. And type it that same exact way.
Same results.
Exactly, so either way will work. We can also use the advanced find, so that gives us more criteria to help us narrow down that search. To open up our search tab, we have to click into the search box. Just click on the ribbon, and we're going to go to Search Tools. Use the drop-down menu, and notice we have Advanced Find. So we have a lot of options here. So where it says search for the word, go ahead and type purchasing. And right now it says in, and it says subject field only. Let's make that so it's subject and body. Now from, let's choose Grady. For time, let's choose received. And let's make it in the past week.
I like this because I can estimate about the time when I received the email. I just don't remember the exact time. And I won't end up with a whole bunch of old results.
Exactly. All we have to do now is choose Find Now.
It didn't find his email, but I know it was within the last few days.
Well, the last few days, we chose last week, specifically calendar week. So let's instead choose the option for in the last 7 days.
There it is.
Which one were you looking for?
The first one.
All right, let's go ahead and open it up.
Perfect. Now, what if I use this search frequently? Is there a way to save the parameters of the search?
We can actually do that in a search folder. Let's go ahead and close this email and also close the advanced find. Now, let's go to your folder tab. Notice in your new, it says new search folder. These are our default search folders. So if you wanted to pull all of your unread email into one folder, you could do that. Or maybe all your emails that come from a certain person. We want to create a customized folder. Let's scroll down. And we're going to choose Create a Custom Search Folder. Here, it's going to specify our criteria. Go ahead and click Choose. Let's name our folder Policies. And before we choose any criteria, let's look at where this is searching. Right now, we have it set to search the entire mailbox.
And just to clarify, that's going to search all of my folders. That's the deleted items, sent items, and every subfolder.
Right. For this one instance, we'll search the entire mailbox. Let's go ahead and choose criteria. So we're going to search for the word policies in subject and body. Now, we do have all of these options, just like in the advanced find, the from, the sent, even the time. But we're just going to stick to these two pieces of criteria. Click OK. OK. And one more. Now we see the policy folder in our navigation pane. Now, with the search folder, that's going to hold all of the email that met that criteria. That can be a temporary folder. If you delete your search folder, you are not deleting the actual emails. They all live in their original folders.
Nice. So I'm assuming I can add as many folders as I want.
Absolutely. And let me show you a few more search options. Let's go to File Options. From the navigation, let's choose Search. Not as many options as we see in other categories, but there's still a few things we can change. One of the more important one is where our results are from. So our default is our current folder, but you could actually choose all your mailboxes.
Nice. And look at this, how I can change the color of the highlighted words.
You don't have to stick with yellow.
Now I don't have any excuses for not finding those emails. But even with all these great search options, I still feel like I'm not managing my inbox well. Can you help me with that?
Let me show you a few more options in our next lesson. You mentioned earlier that you needed some help managing your inbox.
Yes, I receive so many emails every day, and I would like to limit how long they stay in my inbox.
All right, well, we can clean that up. So first let's go to File, and let's look at the section for Tools. Notice first we have our mailbox settings. This is going to let us know the size of our entire mailbox and how much of free space that we have. And if we click on Tools, we'll see that we have options for mailbox cleanup and the option to empty our deleted items folder. Be careful because this is a permanent deletion. Let's click on Mailbox Cleanup. Now, in Mailbox Cleanup, we have the option of viewing our mailbox size. Here, we're actually going to see the size of each individual folder and subfolder that lives in our mailbox. Go ahead and click Close. Sometimes we might want to find what messages are taking up a lot of space in our mailbox. Maybe we have some that are much older than they need to be or too big. Let's take a look at the second section here. And if we wanted to find emails that were older than a certain number of days or larger than a certain size, this is where we would make that change. Let's go ahead and search for those greater than 250. Let's click Find. And now we can see that we have several emails that are greater than that size. Most of them, of course, have attachments with them. So again, we could choose to open each one, make individual choices, or select everything in the range and delete them from here. And notice it is the same box as the advanced find that we used earlier.
All right.
Let's go ahead and close this box. And let's go back and look at our other mailbox cleanup items. Our other options are we can empty the deleted items folder permanently, just like we saw initially when we clicked on our tools, or we can delete all alternate versions of items in our mailbox.
Got it. Vicky, I've seen an archive option. Will that help me clean up my inbox?
Well, it can, and there's many options that go along with it. Let's go back to our Home tab. If we notice in our Delete group, we have an archive command, and we also have an archive folder. So if you have emails that you're not ready to delete, you can place them in your archive folder. Now, this does not decrease your mailbox size. They're still living here in your mailbox. Let's scroll down to the email from Irvin, and let's archive that.
And it disappeared into the archive folder. There it is.
Now notice we have a separate online archive for our mailbox. We're going to see that if our organization has that enabled.
Well, Vicky, there's so many conversation threads going back and forth, and I don't know which ones to keep, which one's the new one, the old ones. Is there a tool to help me with that?
Yes, Luco. There's actually a command called Clean Up Conversations. I see you have several back and forth conversations here. If you want to clean up the conversation, select any message within it, go to the Delete group, and choose your Clean Up Conversation. Now notice it's telling us that all redundant messages in the conversation will be moved to the deleted items folder. Let's take a look at our settings. Here, under Conversation Cleanup, we can see that we have several options as to which messages we want moved into our deleted items. By default, you have checked Don't Move Categorized Messages, Flagged Messages, Digitally Signed, or when a reply modifies a message. These all look like really good options to keep. Now, it will not delete any messages that have attachments. Let's go ahead and click OK. And then select Cleanup to clean up our conversations.
All right.
Now we see all of those individual messages in one thread. We haven't lost any of our information. Let's go to our deleted items and see what emails went there.
Okay.
And we can see that one email regarding new policies is now in our deleted items. Now, best practice really is to clean up the entire folder. So let's go ahead and clean up our inbox folder. Our inbox folder is selected, and we'll go back to our cleanup command. And this time we'll choose Cleanup Folder. Now again, we're seeing that same warning. We're going to go ahead and say Cleanup Folder. And now when we go to our deleted items, we should see all of the redundant email messages there.
Nice. This will help really improve my productivity.
Now, Luco, if you want to regularly delete those emails that live inside of a folder, you can actually set retention policies. You can do this on a folder itself or individual emails to set up the period of time in which you want them to be deleted.
I like that.
Microsoft has some standard retention policies that our administrators can change, but we can also add our own or customize the retention policy to a folder or even individual emails. Let's go ahead and change the retention policy on our customers folder. Let's right-click on our customers folder and choose Properties. And from our customers properties, we're going to choose Policy. And notice right here, it has the same policy as the parent folder, which would be our inbox, but we want to set this folder to have its own retention policy.
Okay.
And let's choose 1 year to delete. So this will now override the policy that is in the inbox, and this folder will hold all of those emails for 1 year.
Got it.
Let's click Apply. And OK. If we want to change the policy on just an individual email, we can do that as well. Let's go back to our inbox. And we will choose the contract signing email from Joanna. Now, for this one, let's go to our tags group. Let's go to Assign Policy to look at the options. Let's also set this retention policy to be 1 year. And now we'll be able to hold that email for 1 year before it deletes. With the archive policies, those are going into our online archive. Now with the retention policy, this is how long that email will stay in your mailbox before it expires. So we set ours to 1 year. It'll stay for 1 year. But again, we do have the choice of deleting it manually ourselves. We can set more retention policies. Notice we have set folder policy here. When we were at our folder, we right-clicked to get to that same option.
Sometimes I have documents and images that are way too large to send as attachments. How exactly do I reduce the file size?
Well, if it's a file, we can either send it as a link or compress it and send it as a zip file. Now, if it's an image, we have a few more options. Let's take a look. With an image, we can actually reduce the size if it's too big. Let's go ahead and create a new email. Let's go ahead and attach an image. If we go to File, now there could be times when your recipient may not receive the message because the image attachment is far too large. In that case, we could choose Resize Large Image when I send this message. And choose Back. And then you would send your email. When they opened it up, it would be sized properly.
Vicky, I'm glad there are so many ways to manage my inbox. Now I just need to take some time to set up my cleanup options.
Luco, when we have actions or steps that we use frequently, we can actually set up quick clicks, quick actions, or rules to make that happen faster.
Let's do it.
The first thing we're going to do is set up a quick action. So let's go down to Lydia's message. If we right-click on the message and then choose Set Quick Actions, these quick actions are what you'll see when you hover over a message. Those icons will appear. You won't even have to open up the message to do these. Let's go ahead and change Delete to Mark Read or Unread. And let's change Flag to Move. And click OK. Now, let's go back and hover over a message. And notice our icons are there.
And the Read Unread works.
Right. So now you don't have to use that right-click menu to make that happen. Do you ever flag messages for follow-up?
I do.
And how is that working for you?
Well, most of my follow-ups are for next week. Is there a way to set that as my default?
We actually can do that. Let's use the same message and right-click, go to your follow-up, and go all the way towards the bottom where it says Set Quick Click. The default is set for today, so let's go ahead and change that to next week. And click OK.
Well, I want to mark it with a flag now, but the flag is going to be gone.
Well, we'll have to go back and reset those actions. Right-click, Set Quick Actions, and let's keep the mark red unread, but let's just change the move back to flag. And click OK. Now, let's go ahead and flag Christy's message. And when you notice at the top, look what it says in our message for follow-up.
And it's flagged to start next week.
Right, and if you right-click on your flag, notice that it is set as next week for our default and no longer today. And it works the same way with your categories. If you have a category that you use frequently, you can go ahead and set your quick click to that category.
Well, this is perfect for this example and in general. However, there's one particular person, Alex, in which whenever I flag his messages, I need to give it immediate attention. How do I get that set up?
Well, what we can do is actually set up a rule. Those will happen automatically, and that way you don't have to click every message that comes in from Alex.
Please show me.
All right. For this one, we're going to have to go to our Move group, and we're going to choose Rules. And we're going to manage rules and alerts. And we're going to say New Rule. Now, let's look under our options for Stay Organized. Our fourth one, Flag Messages from Someone for Follow-up.
That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Let's click on it. Let's go to the bottom where we're going to edit that rule and click on People or Public Group. And we're going to search for Alex.
And we're going to select OK.
Now let's click on our follow-up at this time. So it's at today, and you said immediately, so today should work. Go ahead and click OK. Click Next. Yes. We have everything set for our conditions. Go ahead and click Next again. And Next again. We're not going to add any exceptions to the rule, so Next again. We're going to go ahead and choose the option to run this rule now on all messages in our inbox. That'll flag everything that's there now, but for future, every time a new message comes in, it's automatically going to be flagged for us.
Good.
And let's choose Finish. There are the messages. Our rule has run. We can see the flagged messages over here in yellow. So we can click OK to close the box.
And it worked like a charm. Now, if I want to clear the flags, I can just right-click and clear the flag, or right-click and mark as complete.
Exactly.
I love that I can set up quick actions and quick clicks to follow up on my items. This will help really improve my task management and productivity.
Luco, I know you use your calendar quite a bit, but let's look at a few things that will make using your calendar even more efficient. Let's go ahead and set up a new appointment for next Wednesday. Let's right-click and choose New Appointment. And our title is going to be Fundraiser Event. And let's schedule that from 10 to 12. Let's go ahead and invite our attendees. Here on our Appointment tab, let's go up to Attendees and choose Invite. Let's make Adele and Lydia required. And Alex and Grady will be optional.
Now, our location is set up for Microsoft's Teams meeting. Does it always have to be set up that way?
No, that's just the way our settings are, but we can go ahead and change it. If we don't want this to be a Teams meeting, in our Teams meeting group, we're just going to select Don't Host Online. Let's put in the location. The meeting's going to be held at the Crowne Plaza. If we start typing Crowne Plaza, it's actually going to give us a location. Now, let's go ahead and add a category so it stands out for us. Categorize, and let's do charity events. Let's set the importance as high importance, and then let's send our invitation.
Sometimes I find myself running late for another meeting because my prior meeting ran overtime. Is it possible to set up a buffer in between meetings?
Yes, for that, we'll need to go to our calendar options. Let's go to File and Options and choose Calendar. Now, let's look at that first calendar option, Add Online Meetings to All Meetings. So if you don't want that to be your default, this is where you would turn it off. In this next set, Default duration for meetings, if most of your meetings are an hour, you could actually change that to 60 minutes. It'll change your scheduling a little bit easier. Look at the next, shorten appointments and meetings. Let's check that. Now, our options are we can end early or start late. Let's select end early. And then for meetings less than an hour, maybe 10 minutes is a good buffer there. And for 1 hour or longer, let's check our options. I think 15 minutes will be enough. Let's see how those options impact us when we set up our meetings.
Okay.
Go ahead and just schedule another meeting. Let's go ahead and just check our end time.
And it's usually set to 30 minutes, but this time it's set to 20.
Right, because we asked it to end early by that 10 minutes. Now, when we look at the end time, notice that you have the about an hour and the 1 hour options.
Nice. Let's go ahead and select about an hour. And since we selected an hour, the settings from before allotted up to 15 minutes that we end early.
Exactly.
Now I'm going to close this new appointment.
And choose calendar. Now, let's scroll down a little bit. From calendar options, let's choose add holidays. Now, notice that the United States is checked. We don't see their holidays yet, but once we click OK, they will be added. And you also work with the United Kingdom. Let's add their holidays and click OK. Luco, another thing that a lot of people like on their calendar is being able to see those week numbers. We can add those very quickly from our display options. Our second choice is show week numbers in the month view and in the date navigator. Especially people dealing with payroll, knowing the week numbers is always helpful.
Yes, it is.
Another option we have is auto-accepting or auto-declining meeting invitations. Let's take a look at those.
Okay.
Select auto-accept decline. And we have 3 options here. First, we can automatically accept meeting requests and remove canceled meetings. The second one, automatically decline meeting requests that conflict with existing appointments. Now, that one can get a little bit tricky. If you already put that meeting on your calendar and now somebody sent the invite, it's going to send them back a decline right away. And then your third option, automatically decline recurring meeting requests.
Now, I would like to decline all those recurring meetings, but I'm not sure if I have that luxury. Let me have some time to think about if I want to accept all of the meetings that come through.
Okay. And let's just choose OK. Now, there's just one more option that I want to show you. Luco, do you send your calendar requests outside your organization?
I do.
So we want to make sure when that happens, it's in ICS format. That's just to make sure no matter what format you're looking at your calendar, everyone can read it. Let's scroll up a little bit. All right, and there it is. Just above display options, it is already checked for us. When sending meeting requests outside your organization, use the iCalendar format. Well, it looks like we have all of our calendar options set up exactly how we like.
Yes, and it's still a good reminder to go back and set up and customize exactly how we want. Vicky, in my new role, I have to add a lot of new contacts. Do you have any suggestions for adding and sharing contacts that would be less time-consuming than entering them one by one?
Oh, actually, we can import them from a list, as long as it's a CSV file. Let's give it a try. We'll need to go to File, and we'll go to Open and Export, and we'll choose Import Export. All right, so here it's going to ask us what type of file we want. So import from another program or file is good. So click Next. Now, it is a comma-separated values, our CSV. And let's browse. Now, Luca, we have a few options as far as what to do with duplicate items. So if something on our list already exists in our contacts, what do we want to do with it? Do we want to replace it, have them both live there, or not bring in any duplicates at all?
Well, personally, I would replace it.
And then Next. And now we can see that it's going into our contacts folder. And let's choose Next. There might be some fields in your list that don't quite match the fields in our contacts. So we're going to have to map those fields together here. So let's choose Map Custom Fields. Now, if we look over on the left, those are all of those columns that we would see in an Excel file, the column headers. And if we look on the right, These are our fields that live in our context. They may not always be identical. They might hold the same information, but just not be titled the same way. So we may have to sometimes match those together. Go ahead and expand name. See how we have a first name and a last name, and those also exist on the left. Some of our other fields may not match up as well. We have category on the left. In the right, that's going to match to department. So scroll down on the right to the word department. And we're just going to drag category from the left onto department on the right. Now they're mapped together. We're going to do the same thing from description on the left to notes on the right.
So now the details in the description portion of my CSV file will be transferred to the contact's notes.
Exactly. Let's go ahead and match preferred email to email.
And I'm going to expand the email option.
And then finally, we're going to match cell to mobile phone. All of our fields are mapped. Let's go ahead and click OK. And finish.
And look at that. All of our contacts are populated into Outlook.
And we can also export them in case someone else needs a copy of our contacts. We're just basically following the same steps. Let's go back to File, Open and Export, Import Export. And this time we're choosing our second option, Export to a File.
Is that the best way to share contacts?
It really is, if you have this many. Again, as a comma-separated value. Now we're going to select it from the folder, so Contacts, and Next. And then you would just browse to your destination as to where you want to save that file. And let's go ahead and save it as Exported Contact List, and click OK.
Next.
Now click Finish.
Now what if I just want to share a few contacts?
Well, in that case, you could just select the 1 or 2 contacts and just go ahead and forward them to the person you want to share them with. Which contact did you need to share?
Robin Cook.
All right, go ahead and select Robin. Now in our Share group, you're going to choose Forward Contact, drop-down menu, and you're going to say, as an Outlook contact. Notice it shows up in the form of an email as an attachment. All you have to do is address it to whoever you want to share it with.
Now what about that business card option I saw?
Oh, okay. So let's change our current view from people to business card. Now let's go ahead and double click on Robin's card. This is going to open up her business card. Now we can go ahead and reorganize the way that the information shows up on the business card, because maybe we have some of her personal information and we don't want to share that with somebody else. So we can remove it, and we can also rearrange the way that it looks. For example, here we can see we have both Robin's work and mobile number. I want to remove that mobile number. So we're going to go to Options and Business Card. Here we can change the layout. Let's go to the bottom where it says Fields. We're going to choose Mobile Phone. And at the bottom, notice we have the option to remove it. If you have other information, you could also add it here. But let's make it look a little bit nicer by just adding some space. So go to where it says Blank Line under Email. And now notice the 2 little arrows next to the word Remove. You have an up arrow. Just click on that up arrow, and that's actually going to move that blank line. So notice how we're creating space. When you click on the blank line and you use the up arrow, that's going to move that into place. And then you can actually add more blank lines to give more space. We also have options where we can change the background and even put in image, and then decide if you want the image on the left or the right, or how much of that area you want it to be.
We're designing an entire business card.
Exactly.
How about we pick a Robin Egg Blue?
That should look nice.
Ooh, maybe that wasn't a good color after all. My words are gone.
Well, it's an okay color, but we can actually change the color of your font as well. In your Fields list, go ahead and click on your business phone. And now notice we have our font options here. So we can change the color, we can change the size, you can make them bold or underline. How about we make it a lighter color? Also notice you can decide where you want the label and what you want that label to be. So right now the label just says work and it's on the right side, but you could actually put it on the left side if you wanted and change the color of the label as well.
I like that.
And you can do that for all the different fields on your card.
Okay.
All right, we made all of our changes. Go ahead and click OK. And now we can save and close this box. So now this time when you forward the contact, you can do it as a business card.
And there it is.
If you want to share all of your contacts, instead of using forward contacts, let's use the Share Contacts option. Now, you have two options here. One, you can request permission to view the recipient's contacts folder, and you can also allow the recipient to view your contacts, which is the default setting.
Now, is this the same as when I share my calendar and mail folders?
Yes, it is. And if someone shares their contacts with you, you can open them as well.
Ah, let's go ahead and share with Alex.
All right.
And now we'll send.
Now it's just letting us know what the permission levels are. Reviewer can only read the contacts.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
And if I wanted to change the permissions, I'll go to Contact Folder, Properties.
Exactly.
Now I know how to import contacts and share them with people.
This concludes our course, Mastering Outlook 365 Expert. For more Microsoft courses, check out our Bigger Brains library.